There's a quiet revolution happening all around you, but most people are too distracted to notice. It's in the way some of your colleagues are suddenly producing groundbreaking work, seemingly out of nowhere. Their projects possessing a depth and polish that feels alien in the context of your shared, chaotic office environment. It's in the friend who launched a successful side business, a fully formed passion project brought to life with meticulous detail, while you were still trying to get through your perpetually overflowing inbox, feeling perpetually one step behind your own life. These individuals, these quiet revolutionaries, are not operating with a different set of cognitive tools than you possess. They aren't inherently smarter, they haven't been gifted with some secret intellect, and they certainly don't have more than the same 24 hours in their day that you do. The fundamental difference, the chasm that separates their trajectory from the stalled progress of so many others, is that they have simply stopped playing by the modern world's unwritten but brutally enforced rules of constant connection and shallow engagement. They have made a conscious, deliberate choice to reject the siren call of the perpetually new, the ping of the incoming message, the illusion of productivity that comes from a day spent reacting rather than creating. They have tapped into a mode of operating that feels almost like a superpower in today's frenetic, fragmented professional landscape, a latent human ability that our technology-saturated culture has all but trained out of us. This rediscovered capacity for profound, sustained concentration is what allows them to learn complex skills, to master difficult subjects, and to produce high-value, creative, and insightful results at a speed and quality that seems impossible to the outside observer. Every single day that passes by in a blur of notifications, pings, half-read articles, and a dozen half-finished tasks is a day they are getting further and further ahead, widening the gap, leaving the rest of the world to wonder what their elusive secret could possibly be. The secret is real. It's far more accessible than you might imagine. And yet, with every passing moment you spend mired in the shallows of distraction, you are on the verge of missing out on what is unequivocally the single most valuable and increasingly rare skill of the 21st century. The world is splitting into two groups: those who can command their own attention and those whose attention is commanded by others. The choice of which group to belong to is still yours to make, but the window of opportunity is closing. The great lie of being always on. We've been sold a pervasive and insidious myth, and we bought it completely, not just with our money, but with our most precious and non-renewable resource: our attention. The myth is that being busy is the same as being productive, that a flurry of activity is a direct indicator of progress and value. We wear our exhaustion like a badge of honor, a testament to our commitment and importance in a competitive world. We proudly declare, almost competitively, how many emails we've processed, how many back-to-back meetings we've juggled, and how we're constantly available, tethered to our phones day and night, ready to respond at a moment's notice. But this state of permanent low-level distraction, this self-imposed cognitive fragmentation, is a trap. It is a carefully constructed illusion that provides the sensation of accomplishment without delivering the substance of it. This incessant demand to be always on shatters our attention into a million tiny, useless pieces, preventing us from ever truly sinking our teeth into a meaningful problem, from wrestling with a complex idea until it yields its secrets, or from crafting something with the care and deliberation it deserves. Think of your mind not as a computer that can seamlessly switch between tasks, but as a deep, clear lake. True insight, creativity, and breakthrough ideas reside in the quiet depths of this lake. Every notification, every quick email check, every glance at a social media feed, every context switch from a spreadsheet to a chat window is like throwing a pebble into that pristine water. A few pebbles are fine. The surface ripples for a moment and then settles. But our modern workday is not a few pebbles. It is a constant, relentless hailstorm. A ceaseless bombardment that keeps the entire surface of the lake in a state of perpetual agitated ripple. Nothing of substance can be seen or accomplished in that churn. You can never perceive the profound truths lying in the depths because the surface is too turbulent. The first, most critical step to breaking free from this cycle of diminishing returns is to recognize that this pervasive culture of always on isn't just inefficient or suboptimal, it is actively and aggressively holding you back from your true cognitive and creative potential. It is a system designed to extract low-value, reactive work at the expense of high-value, generative work, and by participating in it without question, we are complicit in the slow erosion of our own most powerful capabilities. The lie is that being reachable makes you valuable. The truth is that your value lies in your ability to become unreachable so you can produce things that matter. Creating your sanctuary of a single task. The antidote to this pervasive chaos, this relentless assault on our focus, isn't a complicated new app, a convoluted life-hacking system, or a grueling productivity regimen that requires more effort to maintain than the work it's meant to facilitate. The solution is far more ancient, simple, and profound. It is about the conscious, deliberate, and often difficult act of creating a sanctuary for your mind. This is not merely a metaphor, it is a practical and necessary architectural undertaking. This isn't just about finding a quiet room, although that is often a good start. It's about building a veritable fortress against the endless invasions of the outside world. Invasions that are not only digital, but physical and, most importantly, psychological. For a set, predetermined period of time, you must make a solemn pact with yourself that one and only one thing in the universe matters. This singular focus becomes your entire world. To achieve this, your phone is not just switched to silent, where its glowing screen can still tempt you with the promise of new information. It is placed in another room entirely, out of sight and out of mind. Its very physical presence removed from your immediate reality. The countless tabs that proliferate on your browser like digital weeds, each one a potential rabbit hole of distraction, are ruthlessly closed, leaving only the single document, resource, or tool you absolutely need for the task at hand. You must communicate to those around you, your colleagues and your family, not with apology but with clarity, that this block of time is sacred, non-negotiable, and dedicated to the kind of work that cannot be done in 5-minute increments. This act of intentionally creating a void, of unplugging from the global hive mind, feels deeply unnatural at first. For the modern knowledge worker, it can even be a little terrifying. The silence that descends is often filled with a phantom limb-like twitch, an urge to check, to connect, to see what you might be missing. But if you can withstand this initial wave of discomfort, something truly incredible begins to happen. The frantic, buzzing energy of your mind, conditioned by years of constant stimulation, begins to settle. The incessant ripples on the surface of the lake calm down, the water becoming still and clear. And it is only then, within that hard-won silence and solitude, that you can finally access the deeper, more powerful currents of thought, the novel connections between ideas, and the sustained concentration that have been there all along, buried beneath the noise. This sanctuary is not a luxury. It is the laboratory where your best work is born. The rhythm of unlocking your best work. True sustainable productivity and creativity are not the result of a relentless, brutish sprint from morning until night. That is a recipe for burnout, shallow thinking, and mediocre output. Instead, the highest levels of performance are achieved by embracing a natural, biological rhythm, a dance between intense effort and deliberate recovery. The most effective and influential minds in history, from scientists to artists to philosophers, did not work for 8 or 10 hours straight in a state of unwavering focus. That is a biological impossibility. Instead, they operated in a cyclical pattern that honored the limits and leveraged the strengths of the human brain. They would dive into a state of intense, uninterrupted concentration for a well-defined period of time. Modern research suggests that for most people, this is between 75 to 90 minutes, with a single, crystal-clear objective in mind. During this sacred block of time, they would pour every ounce of their available mental energy into that one task, pushing their cognitive limits, much like an athlete pushes their physical limits during a high-intensity interval. They would wrestle with the problem, explore its every facet, and make tangible progress. And then, crucially, they would stop. They would step away completely, not as a sign of weakness or laziness, but as an essential and strategic part of the process itself. They would take a walk, preferably in nature, to allow their subconscious mind to continue processing the problem in the background. They would stretch, do some light exercise, or simply sit and let their mind wander aimlessly, without guilt or a destination. This period of rest isn't a passive pause, it's an active and strategic component of peak performance. It is during these periods of deliberate mind wandering and disengagement that the brain's default mode network activates, consolidating information, making unexpected and creative connections between disparate ideas, and recharging the finite stores of willpower and directed attention needed for the next deep dive. By consciously embracing this powerful rhythm of intense work, followed by deliberate restorative recovery, you stop fighting a futile war against your own biology and start working in harmony with it. You begin to unlock a level of performance, a clarity of thought, and a quality of creative work that was previously unimaginable in the exhausting, unending marathon of the conventional workday. You learn that the secret to producing more is not to work longer, but to work deeper, and the secret to working deeper is to rest better.